I remember, so Gilbert is very wealthy. There's a lot of gated communities, just very beautiful big homes. There's a couple of celebrities that live there, and it's just very beautiful. Um, and it's grown a lot. It used to be a farming community, but there is still some farms, but it's grown a lot, especially since the temple has been built. And I remember getting there, and first off, it was March, and it was still snowing and cold in Utah. And we got to Arizona, and it was hot. It was so hot, like 90 degrees. And I remember them constantly telling us how much water we needed to drink, like a gallon a day, that we needed to be careful. And they had all these different, that first day was all about training. And I remember just being so tired because, being a missionary is pretty exhausting, especially, when you have to wake up really early for your flight. So I just remember being so tired, but just super excited to be there. And I remember we got our bikes and we got to try those out in the church parking lot. Just doing a lot of fun stuff. And then that night, we went to this beautiful, beautiful home in Gilbert, and the guy who owned the house, he was a high councilman and over missionary work. And so they had all of us missionaries come over, and we had dinner there. And they lived in this place called Val Vista Lake, so it's a man-made lake, and all around the lake are these homes. So their backyard is this lake, and it looks like Venice. Like, it is just beautiful, and there's palm trees and a beautiful sunset. And I just remember thinking, I must be in paradise. Like, this place is beautiful. And his wife, the high councilman's wife, said, "Yeah, we just had an opening in our stake for a sister missionary. Like, one of the missionaries got transferred, so maybe it will be one of you sisters." And I remember just praying, like, "Heavenly Father, please let it be me. Like, this place is awesome. Like, I want to serve here." So then that next morning, we go to transfer meeting, and I get put with my trainer, Sister Walker. And as I was sitting there during transfer meeting, one of the sisters that I had been in the MTC with whispers to me that she was being put in that stake, the one that we had ate dinner at. And I thought, oh, well, I wonder where I'm serving then. And so I turned to my trainer and I said, "So where are we serving?" And she said, "Florence." And I asked her, "What's Florence like?" And she said, "Ghetto. It's really ghetto." And I remember just being so disappointed because I'd had just this beautiful meal and at this beautiful home with these wonderful people, and I was going to the most ghetto part of my mission. But to this day is one of my favorite places in the whole world. I just adore those people. Florence is a really small town. It's in the middle of the desert. There's 13 prisons there. So it's definitely a town that people just pass through. Nobody stops to visit. Everybody there is related to one another. There's these big names that everyone is just related to. They're all linked together. They've all lived there their whole lives. And it was just quite the culture shock for me. But I loved it. But I remember being very overwhelmed that first week, just not really knowing exactly what to do. But the good thing about a mission is that the days are repetitive. You wake up, do studies, and as the days go on, you slowly start to get it down, and you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing. But yeah, definitely that first week is overwhelming just because there's so much to learn, and you feel like you need to know it all right now. But you just have to remind yourself that the mission is a learning experience just like our life is. And so we just have to be patient with ourselves until we get it. But I definitely feel like by the time I left my mission, I was finally able and ready to serve a mission by the time I finished it. So, but that's okay because it prepares you. Every experience is there to prepare you for what happens next.